Hi. So, it's October and it's time for my September wrap-up. I started out with The Four Cardinal Virtues by Joseph Piper. It's a book about the four main virtues considered in Catholicism. And those are prudence, justice, fortitude and temperance. Joseph Piper does a really good job in discussing all four of them. I really enjoy this kind of reading. The next one is a book I already reviewed. I'll link to the review in the description. It is David Harian's book, The Logical Leap, Induction in Physics. This next one is my third book by Paul Copan. It's called Is God a Moral Monster? Making Sense of the Old Testament God. I think it's important to know how to answer the questions that are made against the God in the Bible, and especially the Old Testament. So to something really different, but still maybe not. It's this really important book in history, and it's more important to read maybe now than ever. And it's the Quran. I've used some time reading it, but I finally finished it. I'm glad I have done it. I read it in Norwegian, so it says Koranen. The next book I read was N.T. Wright's Surprised by Hope, Rethinking Heaven, the Resurrection and the Mission of the Church. And it's a book about our bodily resurrection after we are dead. What happens then? What is heaven? And he takes the standpoint of heaven being something that is bodily and here on earth. I think it's one of the books to read if you're interested in the theme that is really theologically sound. Then I read a totally different book that I picked up when I was in London, and it's called Capitalism, a Ghost Story by Arundhati Roy. I didn't really like it so much, but it was a fast read. I also had my birthday this month, and then I got a book that a friend of mine recommended and gave it to me as a gift, and it is Don Quixote. It's a really long read, but I managed to read it this month as well, by Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra. This next book was a really fast read. It is a book called Grow by Shopify. It's 10 articles on how to make business on the internet, an e-commerce book. I also picked up this really beautiful copy of St. Augustine's Confessions. It's the Moody Classics edition. I've been planning to read this for a long time because it's one of those Christian classics that one has to read. I'm glad I did it. It has some good points, but it's also the first memoir I've read that is a confession to God at the same time. So it's personal, but it's good. Then I finished another Spanish book. It's called The Pocket Oracle and the Art of Prudence by Baltasar Garcian. It's a short book with 300 aphorisms that is about wisdom and tips on how to do life well, basically. And then I rounded off this month by a book called Objective Communication, Writing, Speaking and Arguing. And it is a series of lectures by Leonard Peikoff, but it's edited by Barry Wood. And this is a book about how to communicate your ideas in a clear manner, both in the form of an article or an essay, but also in the way of speaking and when you are arguing with people, how to defend your viewpoint and how to do it correctly so that you get your points through. So that was all of the books I read in September. It was a total of 11 books. Well, that's all. Thank you. See you next time.